Hey, I'm Scotty T from Your Comedy Minute. I've got a special report with my friend Igorlito. Igorlito, it's nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. And under the circumstances, with what happened yesterday, it came to mind last night at 1 in the morning. I said, I've got to get in touch with my boy Igorlito because you were actually born and raised in the Ukraine, correct?
Yes, it's correct.
Okay. Now, what I would like is for you to tell everybody, take us from when you were born and raised in the Ukraine to right now, okay?
Yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
yeah. So, hello guys. My name is Igor. My stage name is Igorlito. I do stand-up comedy,
Right.
and I born and raised in Ukraine, in a city called Mykolaiv, and it's a between Odessa and Kherson. I born in 1989, and pretty much born when the USSR still there, and then USSR actually collapsed, and life in Ukraine started to be different. We began making our own currency, and same as Russia did, same as other country which been joining the USSR. And most of the time, when in the childhood, most of the people were speaking Russian, Ukrainian, depends which region you live in, but still, most of the people know how to speak Ukrainian, and this is one of the language being there. And when you grow up to like your teenage years, a lot of people actually didn't want to speak Ukrainian. It's felt it like, oh, it's not cool. You speak if you speak in Ukrainian, you from the village. People in the big cities, you can get disrespected, like things like that. It's
Right.
like in America. If you come to America, you have an accent, people will be asking, "Oh, your accent, where you from?"
Okay.
And a lot of people can say, "I'm from America," but people's like, "Impossible. You have an accent."
Right.
But in Ukraine, it was like that. But with my family, with my grandparents, with other areas, we always speak Ukrainian, and sometimes we mix Ukrainian and Russian together. It's like
Okay.
we call it surjik. It's when you mix in two languages together.
Right.
And before I actually moved to America, and I was in my last grade of a high school, and I was sleeping in the Russian language class, and it was a compulsory. And I was sleeping there, and I woke up, and the class is still going. And my teacher said, "Oh, you woke up?" I was like, "Yeah, I did wake up. What's up?" She's like, "You would need Russian language in your life." I was like, "No, I'm going to America. I would prefer speaking Ukrainian and English. Who the hell want to speak Russian?" I
Right.
mean, like nobody. Why do I need it?
So you didn't
And
care for Russian back then, even as a kid. Okay.
no, back then, as a kid, like right now, when I'm talking to my friends, I can speak fluent Russian, but I'm forgetting a lot of words. For me, it's easier still speaking Ukrainian. Even my grades were like Ukrainian language was high grades and Russian language was just horrible, like
Okay.
bad, because I really didn't care. And I have a lot of Ukrainian friends around the world, and they still have a families back home. And right now, uh, while the war is going after COVID, it was a bad time for a lot of people. And after COVID, straight away, when everything start, businesses start working, people start going back to work, the war started. And this war started on the 24th of February, the day when Russian have military, it's called the Man's Day on the 23rd. But after 23rd on the 24th, it started the war in 5 a.m. when they start attacking Ukraine by bombing cities, like civilians living there. They just bombed the hell of out of us. And 23rd is a man's day. It's like military day in Russia. And they, after this day, they decided, it feels like they get drunk and decided, yeah, let's attack Ukraine. Like, that's what the usual Russian would do. Like, let's fuck up. Let's fuck up somebody's life. And Going back to what's happening in the past 3 years, yeah, Ukraine is one of the countries who asking for help because when USSR collapsed, there was a deal between America, Russia, and Ukraine. Ukraine gonna give all the nuclear equipment back. America will protect us forever, and Russia will never attack us. That was a deal. The Putin
Okay.
wasn't there in power. That was a deal. But what Putin said, Gorbachev actually did wrong thing, and he gave Ukraine Crimea, which Russia should kept the Crimea, and Russia should kept other parts of Ukraine, and Poland should have other parts of Ukraine. Ukraine should not exist, which is full like bullshit.
Right.
If we're gonna talk about this, then Mongolia should have half of Europe, half of
Right.
the everywhere. Why
Okay.
Mongolia is so poor right now? So going back to these days when a war is going on, I have a lot of friends I met who actually been at the front, been there at the war and fighting, and it's insane what they're doing with like when people actually uh getting some soldiers and Ukrainian soldiers some surrender and they put them in a prison. What they did with those guys, it's crazy. They electroshock them, they beat them every day, and it's for 3 years. And then if there's exchange happen, the, on an interview with Zelensky and Trump, you seen at the beginning he showed them
Okay. Well, hold on a
documents.
second. Now, so you still have friends? Do you have family still in Ukraine too?
Yes, yes, I have my cousins, I have my uncles, uh, parents, everybody. Like I moved parents
Still in Ukraine.
to try
Okay.
and get Poland and everything.
Okay.
So it's a just big thing what's going on right now, and a lot of people just struggling and cannot do anything. And
Right.
as a man, any man who traveled to Ukraine right now, they're gonna get arrested and they're not allowed to leave the country. When a woman can go there, get a new passport, and leave without any worry, because they say men have to go to war, women can leave, which is where's the equality of
Right.
for sexism? It's just
Right.
crazy. And if you see a lot of Ukrainian normal people, we raising money, we're doing some events, we're raising funds to help not only soldiers, but we're helping to give a food to the people who actually don't have a jobs. We helping them like older people who don't know, like cannot leave anymore. They in the hospitals, homeless kids. They try to get them away from far away from the war zone. And every day, people going to sleep and they hear bombs dropping
Right.
not far from them, and they wake up like your alarm is another bombs dropping.
Right.
It's
Well,
insane.
let me get back on here for a second. Um, when we met 7 months ago, I guess it was, I had you on the show, and I told you then about my brother married a Ukrainian woman,
Yes,
and
you
we
did.
had some laughs about that. And so I have a little knowledge of the Ukraine, but obviously not like you, who was born and raised there and everything. And as full disclosure, I want people to know that I don't watch the news. I don't like doing politics or anything. This is like a first for me to do something like this. And it was at about 1 o'clock in the morning because I saw it was all over the news yesterday, but I don't watch the news. And it wasn't until last night at 6:30 my time, the national news comes on, and I saw this explosion with Trump and Zelenskyy, and then JD Vance got into it. And it wasn't until 1 in the morning that I got up and I said, I'm going to contact Igorlito because this guy's got firsthand knowledge. And that's why we're doing this. And I wanted to talk to you about your feelings. Did you get a chance? Because at the time you said you hadn't seen a lot of it. Did you get a chance to see, what happened yesterday at the White House?
Yes, I did. And
Okay. And what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's a like measurements. Like, of course, Trump tried to show he has the biggest balls right now on the table, and his assistant, I forgot his name. What's his
JD
name you
Vance.
mentioned? Yeah,
JD
yeah,
Vance, the
JD
vice
Vance.
president.
Yeah, I mean, like he just been acting like not like a vice president. He just started attacking, and without even letting Zelensky to speak up. Anything they start talking to him, was like, no, you need to do this, you need to do that. Like,
Right.
we need to take your soil. I was like, wait a minute, slow down. Like, yes, we understand every war works like this. When you support the country have to pay back, but it can take many years to pay back, which is everybody realizing.
Right. Well,
But
they wanted him to sign a mineral deal yesterday,
yeah,
with the mineral deal that, you're going to give up for, because I wrote some stuff down here. The U.S. has given $65.9 billion to the Ukraine since the war started. 750,000 Ukrainians and Russians have died since this war started 3 years ago. And you're exactly right. Trump brought him there. And just so you know, Igorlito, here in the United States, it's very divided right now because there are probably about half the people out there that side with the Ukraine and said Trump and JD Vance bullied Zelensky yesterday. They bullied him and they threw him out of the White House. They more or less
yeah,
escorted him out.
yes,
And there's the other half, and this is where I don't know how attuned you are to what's going on here in the United States, but ever since Biden left, Trump has like just taken charge, like you said, has the biggest balls. And Trump, now that Trump is in, there's the other half of the United States that feel like the U.S. has spent way too much money in Ukraine. You guys have been fighting since 2014 or something, right? And
yeah,
so there's that division here in the United States where we need to continue to support them, but then there's the other half because here in the US prices are up on eggs, everything's up. And so now it's like, well, we got to stop sending money to the Ukraine. And I just I I'm speechless because I don't do politics.
yes, yeah,
And I want to try, and because this was a comedy show, but this is not. This is very serious. But I want you to hopefully remember when we met last time. I told you a joke. I said, "What's the difference between a bucket of shit and Putin?" The bucket.
yeah. I
That's all.
remember.
Just the
Yeah,
bucket.
the
That's the
bucket.
only difference.
Yeah,
And I want you to know I still feel that way.
yeah. No,
Because he's a bully.
he is. And you know the funny part, you're gonna be like, I met a lot of Russians here, and a lot of Russians like they still nationalistic, like they like Russia is the best country in the world, like la la la. But there is a lot of Russians who actually feel bad and they hate Putin. That's why they don't want to go back to Russia because it's just they still believe it's a shithole. There's
Yeah.
no freedom of speech. There's nothing there. Like it's just insane.
Right.
Like and
I want to clarify. Let me pop us back onto full screen here, the screen. Um, I want to clarify. I don't dislike the Russian people. It is Putin, and just what you were talking about there, that the rights of the people. It's the same in China. I don't
yeah,
dislike the people in China. I dislike what the government's doing there. People should be free to do and say like we have here in the United States. And that's why, like I said, it just dawned on me last night at 1 in the morning. I said, I've got to get Igorlito on because you and I have become friends. And I
yes,
want to see you flourish, not only as a comedian, but as a human being and
yeah.
do what you want to do. And something like this has just got to be going through you like crazy.
Oh yeah, it's on a daily base. Like I have one story quick to tell you. There's
Take your
a
time, my
comedy.
friend. Take my time. This show's all about you.
There was a comedy show, and there was one Chinese guy came come to me, and he's like, "Oh, I want to see the comedy." I was like, "Yeah, cool. You can see the comedy. You can just wait the time, and then you walk in, and show gonna start it." And then he's like, "Where you from?" I was like, "I'm from Ukraine," and he's like, "Oh, I'm from China. Why are you not fighting for with against Russia?" I was like, "Because I'm helping people from here. I'm helping my parents, everything." And then he stated, he's like, "Oh, I just came back from Ukraine. I was on a Russian side killing Ukrainians." That's exactly what he said. And I just get so much anger in me. And I said, "No, you cannot come to the comedy show. You know, like I just cannot let you." And but he still ended up to come on the show, but he didn't say anything anymore. And I told this story to my Ukrainian friends. They said, "Igor, you will come." The other Ukrainians probably do something like start a fight or something, like,
Right.
because after hearing this kind of words, it's just creating a
Yeah.
big anger in you, and you want to just be stupid and do some stupid things, which is wrong as well.
Right. What do you think is going to, because now, again, this happened yesterday. And again, for people that don't know, where are you at now?
Thailand,
Right. You're in China. And
Thailand,
so, where? Thailand?
yeah.
Okay. So this morning I got up and now, as you know, Trump said after he put him out of the White House, he said he can come back when he's ready to talk about peace or he wants to accept peace. Um, this morning I see that Zelensky has kind of backed water a little bit, or he was on Fox News, some of the networks, and I think there's some regret. I don't know. I don't know. What do you think is going to happen moving forward?
So at the moment, a lot of European countries start give a support to Ukraine, including Germany, UK, France, Spain, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark,
Okay.
Poland. They actually supporting us. They understand the situation because we on a continent, whereas we border with Russia, and that's what's a lot of people worry about Russia aggression because they're never gonna stop there. And a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, Zelensky need to do another election. Zelensky have to step away." But slow down there. Putin been in power for 25 years straight. Why not like, no, 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 you buddy go down and somebody else gonna step up? No, because he is a real dictator. He will not allow anybody to change him. He will not allow anybody control the Russia because he believes he knows only how to do it. And at the moment, I don't know if Trump actually has the bigger balls because I believe he actually scared of Putin and he
That's what
tried to
that's what
be like,
people are saying here. And when you brought that up, that opposition leader in the U in Russia, he more or less killed him. I forget
yeah,
his name. You remember the guy that was running against him, and he put him in jail, and finally now he's dead. It seems like
yes,
anybody that opposes Putin ends up dead.
yeah, exactly. There's
And
a
by the way,
journalist.
I may end up dead for calling him a bucket of shit. And hey, show
Yeah,
everybody your shirt. I think it says Puck Putin. I think the words are a
yeah.
little mixed up.
I know it's made in China, so that's why there's a couple of letters.
Oh my God. Yeah, this is uncharted territory for me.
Yeah, it's a. I mean, like people don't understand that Ukraine have a bigger histories than Russia, and we had big history happening with like long, long time ago. Just because one time Ukraine joined with Russia, USSR, but in history before, we always been fighting against them, against other countries, protecting the land and everything.
Right.
But you know, the like always people saying the history repeats, and going back to Middle Ages when we still want to conquer some land because your land is not enough. We want your land. Your land is, looks a little bit better than our. We want a little bit more, a little bit more. And that's
Right.
why when before the war, Ukraine was actually exporting a lot of soil, like a natural soil for agriculture, and it's very important these days because we have 8 billion people right now on the planet, and right now agriculture is the biggest business ever. Why Bill Gates bought half of Texas land just to doing agricultural stuff?
Right.
Why? Because, but again, all the fertilizers, all the natural soils, all the stuff coming from Ukraine. And that's why they want to take it away from us and sell it or use it themselves, and which is wrong. So you pretty much allowed Russia to conquer some of our lands, then you give in our soil. What do we have left? How do you expect us to live on that?
Right.
Like Ukrainian people, not every person can leave the country and start the new life in another country. I'm fortunate. I lived in America. I learned English. I lived in Australia, different countries, and I'm fortunate I can speak a fluent English and some other languages, a little bit there, a little bit there. And many people not like that. People cannot leave, and some people are afraid to leave. And where you go, like what? People don't want to go to another countries and asking the government, please give us money. Like a lot of refugees right now in America, they're asking, oh, we need money. Okay, go to work. Oh, we don't want to work. But Ukrainian people, we want to work, but we are afraid just to be in another country without friends, without have a good communication with people. And of course, it's a scary topic.
Right. Let me ask you this because, again, we were on together before. And I think your goal when we talked last time was you'd like to, obviously become, or continue your comedy career and maybe acting
Yes.
and come to the United States. Do you now feel differently that you'd like to go back to the Ukraine with this recent
No,
development?
no, I still would love to do it like I told you before. It's things, it's one of the passion. It's like we talked. You can hate the government, but you love people. The same thing.
Right.
It's it's like I wish there would be like rules like these YouTubers they fighting one famous YouTuber fighting another famous YouTuber like Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. If every country can solve the problem, just your president and my president goes to a ring, who win? Okay, the problem solved. That's it, done. Nobody have to be get hurt. Only you two. You decided to be in president's seat. Okay, cool. Step on a ring, the winner go box away.
Well, your boy Zelensky's kind of small.
I know, but I
And,
know
and,
Trump
and
already.
hey, wasn't he a comedian before he became a politician?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But Trump as well. He was a professional fighter in WWE. So, like,
Oh yeah, yeah, I forgot about that. That's funny. That's funny,
yeah,
Igorlito. That's funny. I
so he
forgot
can
about
actually
that.
step up
Yeah,
on the ring, like have a
yeah.
tag team match. I'm sure he will bring like Undertaker or
Okay,
something.
okay. There we go. Igorlito has figured out how we get this
Yeah.
thing worked out. It's taken it's taken us about a half hour to get to the result, but Igorlito has suggested that Donald Trump and Zelensky get Volodymyr Zelensky have a WWE match.
Yeah, exactly. And you know how cool it would be because that would be amazing. Like America be like, okay, we're gonna support, we're gonna give money to the winner, and they have a like money in the bank. This like thing in W, and the
Oh
first
my
person who
God.
grabs money gets a support. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'm cool with that.
Okay. Well, I got to tell you, first and foremost, thank you for doing this. And I want to make sure that we cover everything as far as what you want to tell the people, because again, this is uncharted territory for me. For 5 years, I've just done comedy and tried to make people laugh. But under these circumstances, I wanted to reach out to you because, again, we've become more than, in other words, 7 months ago is when I first met you.
Yeah.
But we've, like, for instance, you just recently sent me a Super Bowl prediction and we've communicated. You send me your clips and I'm doing everything I can to help you because I really like you. And for people that didn't see our first interview, I'll put the link on with this interview because it does tell you, you didn't cover how you were just up the road from me. You went to school
Yeah.
and then ended up in Australia, and how, your whole story, which is an amazing story in its own right. Are you still there? I think I lost you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you're back. You're back. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
was just saying that I'm going to put the link to our first interview because
Perfect.
your story is amazing. That, whereas I just met you 7 months ago, and you have lived such an amazing life to get from how you went to school just up the road. I'm in Pennsylvania. How you went to school and then to Australia
Yeah.
to play basketball.
Yeah. So we don't want to, Ukrainian people don't want Americans to think that uh, we taking your tax money, we want it, we need it. No, of course not. We never want it. We never think about the same as we want a peace. Everybody want a peace, but every peace agreement start from something, but you cannot give it everything. Like I cannot give somebody's my house or something. I don't like if I give them my house where I don't want to have a Russian passport. I'm sorry. So where should I go next? So so that's what we want. We want to live peacefully, happily. And some countries are fortunate. They have this book which called Passport Can Travel Anywhere Around the World. Some countries less fortunate, which is that's life. You need to fight for it. But by end of the day, like I said, if a government can actually solve it out somehow by themselves without people getting hurt, that life would be way better. It would be a fairy tale. But at the moment, we need to suck it up and just keep fighting.
Well, and I didn't know until yesterday's meeting when Zelensky leaned front, and I think he said it to J.D. Vance and to Trump that in 2019 or whatever year it was, that they had signed a peace agreement, and
Yeah,
that Putin broke it. He
yeah,
broke the agreement, and he continued
exactly.
to kill Ukrainian people, and he didn't hold up his end of the bargain.
Yeah,
And
and we all
that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, we all Ukrainian people. We knew the war gonna start it, but why Russia didn't start the war earlier? Because there was Olympic Games in China. And if they start the war earlier, they would piss off China. So they couldn't do it. So they waited till Olympic game finished and then they attacked it. It's insane, but that's how it is.
Right. Well, look, I'm gonna if it's okay with you, it keeps freezing up, but what I want to do is we'll get back together as this thing develops, if you want to do that, and we'll keep in communication as
Yes.
far as you know because nobody knows better than someone that was born in the Ukraine. And like you're talking about here in the United States, I can give you firsthand of what's going on here. That it's not just everybody here in the United States thinks screw Ukraine, because I'd say at least half or more are siding with you guys and saying, and I'll tell you, I side with you guys. I think Putin's a bad guy.
Yeah.
And you know that. You know my heart. You know how I feel, or I wouldn't
Yeah.
be even
She,
doing this right now.
yeah.
So look, why don't we
I
make
understand it.
yeah, why don't we make a pact that we'll get back together as soon as more develops. And man, thank you so much for being here. It's been a real pleasure.
No problem. No problem.
I'm
No
sorry there was no
problem.
humor.
Always
We both do comedy, but under these circumstances, I think it's more important for people to know what's really going on from two people that, again, we kind of are drawn together because of my brother being married to a Ukrainian woman. And I know even back then, my other brother said to him, just send a picture of your pantry because things were so,
Mm.
it was so hard in the Ukraine for people that all my brother needed to do was send a picture of all the food he had and the woman would come. That was a joke,
Yeah,
but I mean, it
but
was.
before we finish, yeah, I
Go ahead.
know,
Go
I
ahead. I'm
know,
sorry.
but before we finish, I can actually give you a one really good joke. I
Okay.
wrote this joke like recently as well. So the joke goes like this. We were like promoting a comedy, and there was a Russian family passing by, and I tried to be nice. I'm a nice people to everybody. And I came to them and I was like, guys, do you need any help? Just like, no, we don't need any help. But I understood that they speak no English. But they came to the lady to buy a bracelet. And there is a bracelet, different things saying. And they bought a bracelet to their daughter. And I read it after they put on her hand, and a bracelet says, "Up bum, no baby." I'm like, this bitch deserve it. We don't need any more soldiers in Ukraine.
Oh, my friend. Hey, listen, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. Um, Let me stop the recording so we can spend a minute or two off the air, okay?
Okay.
And again, we're going to get back together as this thing develops, and we'll keep in touch. And again, I wish you and your family and everybody in the Ukraine all the best. And let's pray that hopefully cooler heads will prevail and we'll get through this. And um, I'd love to see. I'm a peace loving guy, and I'd love to
Yes.
see. But like you said, without you guys having to give up all your mineral rights and everything, because here in the states, one last thing, a lot of people are saying that Trump is just bowing down to Putin, that he's actually scared of Putin, and he's just doing he's doing Putin's dirty work.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, let me stop the recording, and we will talk real soon. Thank you.
Uh,